The Sulong Q is the world's first and only tether-free wireless wear-and-play headset that combines virtual reality, augmented reality, and spatial computing into all-in-one platform. The first important ingredient of the system is called the spatial processing unit. The spatial processing unit is a unit within the headset that combines revolutionary next-generation computer vision technologies and brings them all together to create VR and AR experiences like no other. It maps the environment in real time and sends that data to the AMD FX 8800P processor, which then processes it further, and combined with this Radeon R7 graphics, it's able to produce console quality, beautiful graphics that will just blow your mind on a 2560 by 1440p display, and is running at maximum 35 watt power.
Sulong represents the promise of virtual and augmented reality made easy in an all-in-one tether-free headset that completely takes advantage of the power of Radeon graphics. And when combined with Sulong's own spatial processing unit, it delivers console quality graphics and the ability to transition from real world to a virtual world seamlessly.
The Sulong Q is a revolutionary platform that combines many different core revolutionary technologies developed by Sulong and as well by our third-party partners. Specifically in the FX 8800P, we got this beautiful HSA architecture that fuses the SPU, GPU, and CPU all together into this beautiful harmony of low compute burden, and thus presenting a whole load of available computational capabilities to allow users to do actual computing. And thus the first ever spatial computing platform that does both VR and AR was born. It also has very, very outstanding graphics processing capabilities with the Radeon R7 graphics processor. And combine all that together, you got this beautiful revolutionary product that's completely wireless. It's producing graphics like no other. So Sulong Q integrates AMD Liquid VR as a part of the GPU Open Initiative to bring seamless, responsive VR and AR experiences to life. The system also ships with Sulong spatial earbuds are specifically customized to bring you the beautiful audio experiences that are required for VR and AR. Sulong Q is a very powerful and lightweight all-in-one solution that provides amazing virtual reality and augmented reality experiences, and as well as spatial computing experiences, all together in one solution.
I think one great thing with PlayStation Virtual Reality itself is that we did take our time with it. We were careful to get it just right. This isn't just, games plus, this is game revolution.
We are, seeing the dawn of new industry.
So it's not just for gamers, but it's also for, literally everybody who is connected to the PlayStation brand.
The thing we want to do more than anything else is get people to forget that they're in VR.
It's really like a lot of different possibilities for gameplay exploration that hasn't really been explored yet.
Technical advancement helps game creators to come up with some, totally new experiences.
The stars have aligned in terms of technology for VR. So, screens are really good now. The latency's down, the computation power is up, and all these things have kind of come together to mean that we can make VR headsets like Morpheus that really work.
We've made a demo that runs 120 frames a second, natively, and when you move around, you can really feel like it's so smooth.
Not only is the whole depth perception better because it's all head tracked and it's rendered from the correct viewpoint, but also you have agency inside the world, so you can actually look around and sort of, direct your own experience in a way that is even difficult in a traditional game.
The next generation that we showed earlier this year, just even better. I mean, a brilliant screen. It's very comfortable, the weight distribution around your head, all those sort of practical things really, really improved.
Moving to OLED, that's been a big difference too. So now the demos we had before running on LCD, we were kind of getting used to them. But the moment we kind of switched, it was like, wow.
We've had to think from the ground up and design from the ground up for virtual reality experiences. So instead of using a traditional FPS control system on a DualShock, for example, in the Heist, we're using 2 Move controllers, and you're actually in there, actually shooting baddies, looking around, one-to-one relationship with your hands and the environment.
Because when you talk about it, or when you show it on the screen, of course, people can sort of imagine, but actually there is nothing like trying it.
There's a lot of exciting possibilities to kind of present worlds that feel realistic but are completely not like anything you could actually experience in real life. So I think that's that's my hope for the project.
Innovation is in the DNA of PlayStation. If we just stood still, I think half the people wouldn't be here. You know, they're here because they love innovating, finding new experiences.
My name is Paul Merlucky, and I'm a virtual reality enthusiast and the designer of the Rift. Games are something I'm really passionate about, and even more than playing games, I'm passionate about bringing games to the next level. What we're doing at Oculus is trying to create the world's best virtual reality headset designed very specifically for gaming. Where this all started was in my parents' garage in Long Beach, California, and I was interested in stereoscopic displays, I was interested in head mounts, and the problem was there was nothing that gave me the experience that I wanted, the Matrix, where I can plug in and actually be in the game. And I was sure that somewhere out there was something that I could buy, and the reality is there's nothing. I set out to change that with the Oculus Rift. The magic that sets the Rift apart is immersive stereoscopic 3D rendering, a massive field of view, and ultra-low latency head tracking. John Carmack is one of the best developers in the world. Doom, Quake, Commander Keen. Carmack saw some of my work. That's originally when he reached out to me. So most consumer head-mounted displays have a diagonal field of view of about 30 or 40 degrees. You see a really small image way off in the distance, and it doesn't make you feel like you're there. With the Oculus Rift, you get a diagonal field of view of 110 degrees. That means you're not looking at a screen anymore. You actually feel like you're inside of the world.
You don't see the screen when you put it on your eyes, and that just changes the whole ballgame.
One of the biggest problems with virtual reality up to this point is latency.
The sense of presence in virtual reality is something fundamentally new. You actually, for the first time, your brain says, okay, I'm comfortable in this environment. I know it's not real, but I think it is. With the second developer kit, a year of R&D, we're getting a lot closer.
DK2 has lower latency, higher frame rate, higher resolution, and low persistence, along with full 6-DoF positional tracking. All of these combined allow for much better gameplay experiences and a much more comfortable user experience.
With DK2, we now have sub-millimeter accurate position tracking, which means that the views can respond the way it actually should in all cases.
The first thing you need to make VR work is vision. If you can trick it, you can trick the rest of your brain and body reasonably well. But touch, that's something we do every day without even thinking about it. And when it's missing in virtual reality, it's one of the first things that you want.
One of the main design goals for touch was that it give you hand presence, the feeling that your virtual hands are really your real hands, that they're there with you.
We made hundreds of prototypes, refining on ergonomics, the types of inputs we had, the type of tracking that we had. And a lot of the assumptions you make at the beginning of the process don't necessarily pan out.
With touch, what we had to do was make a solution where it doesn't feel like there's anything there, but when you do natural gestures, those things show up in virtual reality.
You need to track its position in 3D space. You need to perfectly track its orientation. And you need to do all those things with very low latency.
Some of the decisions that we made with touch, we weren't sure if they were going to work. And 300 prototypes later, many did not. It takes a while to find that right magic where you pick up the device and you pull a trigger and you're like, that's it. And getting there and really finding the way to make it work, it's pretty incredible.
As a game designer, working with the Vive is crazily fun. It's like amazingly blockbuster fun.
Room scale actually brings about a significant range of freedom for the designer and the developer.
When they finally showed us the Vive, it was honestly like a dream come true.
The opportunity to work with something that has that kind of fidelity, something that we can rely on as a developer, it's such a reward.
It's just allowed us to explore all of these new mechanics and ways of doing things in the game.
Final Approach is an airport management game. The goal is for the player to manage airport traffic, taking airplanes off, landing airplanes, refueling, handling emergencies.
We're currently working on episode 1, Call of the Starseed. It's a story-based game, and it's all about just being in a whole new world and interacting with cool characters.
Fantastic Contraption is a game all about building stuff. You are the player, the star of the show. It's all about your creativity. Move around and do stuff and build machines that roll around and that walk around and that move from place to place.
Job Simulator is basically in a future in 2050, the robots have taken all of our jobs. The robots were kind enough to put together this job simulator so that humans could remember what it was like to job.
It's such a dramatic difference and a contrast between the way we've always done it from the beginning of time until now.
We're learning a whole new language to move around this world, what the affordances are of this world, how people communicate.
Complete paradigm shift in how you design games.
Oftentimes a lot of the traditional game mechanics don't translate well into room scale VR, so it requires a whole new mindset.
You're thinking about how it is to move around and use motion controls in the real world and having to take that into your design. We're finding that you have no concept of what will work and what won't work before you try it.
For us, that's what's most exciting about the Vive, is that it gives us that creative opportunity to break the rules and make new rules.
I think there's a big problem with the perception of what VR should be or could be or was when it died in the 80s and people saw its rise and fall when the technology just wasn't quite there. And the Vive has totally changed that for a lot of people, but you have to put it on and experience it to see that.
This is not really a virtual reality, it's an alternate reality. People can go into that space and they can be human in that space.
We certainly think it will change the future of gaming. You can't really go back and look at games the same way you did before.
I'm here with the Vertrix. We're showing off our Omni platform. It's basically a motion platform that allows players to walk or run in 360-degree virtual environments. Our internal development team has created Omni Arena, which allows players to cooperatively work together and defend the core against the waves of enemies. Using the Vive with the Vertrix Omni allows freedom of motion controls, allowing the users to walk in one direction and aim their weapons in different directions at the same time.
We have Fox here at CES showing off The Martian, their virtual reality take on the recent movie. We also have Elite Dangerous here with us in the ballroom at CES. They've been showing off their game with the cooperation of both SciTech and Playseat to really bring that flight experience to life for our guests.
So cool.
This is really tight.
In addition to all the partner activity, we also have our biggest truck tour stop yet. We've expanded the truck tour from its original 3 bays, which everybody's come to know, to an additional 5 bays outside the truck with a variety of activities that allow people to both view and go hands-on with different types of VR.
Whoa!